Hi guys, I'm Ron Hanks, and welcome again to the SAG-AFTRA Short Film Showcase. So, without any further ado, let's bring on the filmmakers. Give them a warm round of applause, please.
Thank you, guys.
So what we'd love to do is we actually would love to go down one by one. Introduce yourself, tell us what film you were with, what role you had, and then we'll see also if you can introduce anyone in the audience that was a part of the film as well.
Absolutely, yeah. My name is John Fortson, and my film was rated. Thank you. You guys all get 5 stars. Yeah, I'm really lucky tonight because I have the lead actress here, Christy Lynn Smith. Give a wave.
Lovely.
I'm even luckier because she's my wife, so that's really... I'm even better than that because I have our other actress who plays Susan, the restaurant owner here, Deepti Gupta. And one of the funnest parts of making the film was working with my composer. So my composer Ed Alton is here tonight too. So, yeah. And on the film I co-wrote with my wife, and I am in the film. You might recognize me. And I directed and produced. So yeah.
So no big deal.
No big deal. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Thanks
Tiffany?
so much.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Littlejohn, and my film was The Perfect Sacrifice. So tonight we have some great actors who are in the film here. Our lead actress, Nakia Seacrest, right there. Yes. And Tyler Parks, who played Emmett Till, right here. And we have Idris Stigas right here, who played Rayfield Moody. And Paula Franklin, who was Aunt Lizzie. And Michael, I know I saw you back there. Michael Delone, who played the funeral director, Mr. Rayner. And we have some producers as well, Wade Littlejohn, Ora Meacham, Kevin Marine, and Lily O'Toole, and Brian Thompson. Yes.
Nice. Welcome, guys. Next up.
Hi, I'm Veronica Rodriguez. I was a co-writer and director of Hummingbird and Crane. We've got the dueling Heidi and Dory in the house, Pam Covington and Sarah Navratil.
Marshall Tyler, and my film is Night Shift. I was writer-director, and we have the lead of the film, Tunde Adebimpe. We have Cisco Reyes, who played the high school friend, and first-time actor who played drunk man, Kairos Heineck, right there. We also have my wonderful producer, who's also my fiance, Maura Griffin. And one other person from production, Howard Johnson, who is our backbone and everything. He was the production coordinator.
Hi, I'm Debbie Von Ahrens. I co-produced Virgin Territory, and I co-produced it with my daughter, Emily Robinson, who could not be here tonight because she's in her first week of college at Columbia. But we have, thank you, but we have Catherine Grealish, our composer, is with us.
Oh, great. Oh, me. Oh. Well, I do have some questions. So we're going to start with a little bit about the stories. I mean, all of you guys are fantastic storytellers, and I'd love to know some of the genesis of the story itself and just what inspired you to make this film.
Yeah, thank you. Amazing films from everybody, and such great acting, and we're at Screen Actors Guild, but wow. And for me, as I'm always writing for my personal life. I wrote a couple one-person shows that I performed here in LA for a while, all about my personal life, and as I'm trying to understand it. And as everyone started to, my wife and I use Yelp all the time, and we used to just go to a restaurant. And now it's like, well, it's got 3 stars. Why? Starting to wonder about everything. Why does this park only have 2 stars? I don't understand. And so December 2014, I'm standing there thinking, what if a husband and wife woke up one morning and one had lower stars than the other? And I'm always pitching my wife, and so I told her about this idea, and she's like, "This is it. We got to do this. We got to make this. We got to do this." And so we got out, the iPad, and we're like improvising back and forth scenes, and next thing you know, we're shooting in April 2015, and shot for 4 days. And I had never directed a film before. So for me, it was a really big leap of faith, and I can tell you, as a longtime actor, and constantly scribbling and writing different scripts and things, I'm really glad that I took that leap of faith, because it was the best time I ever had. And we shot for 4 days, and just kept going. And it's fun because the daughter in our film is my daughter, and so she's.
Explains a little bit of that sassiness.
She can get away with it in the film. Yeah, and the son is my son. I'm gonna claim him. It's okay. Don't worry. And he makes his film debut. So what a gift that my daughter actually is a working actor. So just to be able to work with everybody and to do this, as well as telling a story that to me kind of turns our world on its head and levels the playing field. If we were all rated, and things were based, wouldn't matter. And I was talking to Tiffany, briefly backstage, at what a counterpunch her film is to rated and today's world, where we're rating everything, and still things are going on and figuring things out. So,
Well, Tiffany, tell us, obviously your story is a historical reenactment of sorts, but telling it from a different aspect, what inspired you to do that story?
For me, it was when I was 11 years old. I first was told this story by my brother, who was 2 years older than me. In his history class, he watched a documentary called Eyes on the Prize, and it's a basically historical account of the civil rights movement. And if you look in most of your textbooks, it starts with Rosa Parks not giving up her seat, and it kind of leaves Emmett Till behind. And so when I talk to people, I always often hear people who have never heard this story, and they always think it was Rosa Parks, which what she did was hugely important, absolutely, but I just feel like it was just this untold story, and his mother was an unsung hero, and it's a story that's lived with me since I was 11 years old, and I would write about it, I would research, and after my first year in film school, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my thesis film, and so yeah.
I think just to say, I think it's probably hard to receive that accolade or that, congratulations for something that's such a hard subject matter, but you certainly pulled it off in such a beautiful way that I do think you deserve that applause. Yeah. And now on to our funny bird calling, which started the night off.
On the other end of the spectrum.
Can you bird call? Is this a thing that you're actually making fun of with the birds?
Well, the World Series of Youth Birding is a real thing. So, but it was not something that was personal to me until making the film. Pam Covington, who plays the character of Dory, it was very personal to her. She literally had a bird book that she made herself when she was growing up. Was just obsessed with birds. It was very adorable, her and her best friend. And she was an actress, and she's like, this is the role I kind of really want to play. And she was looking for a quirky comedy female director. And I said, that is a fantastic world. Can we make it as weird as possible? And I love working with kids and that whole thing. And so it was just, she produced it too, which was crazy for her to do both, but she pulled it off, and I think hopefully we pulled it off.
You got a lot of laughs. That was awesome. Yeah. Was this anyone's first time to screen it? Or you guys have all screened before an audience before, right? Different film festivals and things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep going. Night shift.
So night shift. So I have a friend who is a bathroom attendant on the side, and he would tell me all these crazy stories about his nights, and I just thought, wow, that would make a great film. And I liked the idea that it was contained in one location, and I became pretty much a bathroom expert for Los Angeles. Like, I literally looked high and low for the perfect bathroom. And one day, we were at the Sundance Next Fest, and I went downstairs to the men's room, and I saw this bathroom, and I just fell in love. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't focus on anything beyond that bathroom. And I became obsessed. And I just made a point, like, we have to get that bathroom. And so my wonderful fiance and producer, she made that happen. And she also brought the incredibly talented Tunde Adebempe to the project, who some of you know from TV on the radio, and Rachel Getting Married, and who's just a fantastic actor. And my other two actors that are here today, Kairos and Cisco, they were brought together by a casting director that some of you guys might know, Christopher Gray. So it just all came together in a very organic way, I guess you can say, but also rushed because Tunde was having a baby. And but yeah, that's how it all came together.
Well, my daughter, Emily, wrote and directed and starred in Virgin Territory. And
I think we should give her an applause for that. She's going to watch this. I mean, it's pretty awesome. It really, really is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she did it when she was 17, and many people think that it was autobiographical, and it was not.
So these were not combos that you and she were having. That, yeah.
But she really wanted to write and direct a film from the female gaze, and it was important to her. And it was also important for her not to have a boy or a man in it. So she was very specific about wanting to have the three women in it. At one point, they thought of having boys' feet shown, but that was about it. And but she really wanted to show a coming-of-age story, a girl that decided that she did want to lose her virginity on her terms. And so she did it, and she, you know.
She did a good job.
Thank you. So.
Emily's awesome. So this is a group of actors, and so one of the things, as you know, we like to know about is the casting process. A little bit about how you found your actors and how you went about casting them. And if there's any, advice you can give us, I don't know, like when the next time we see you in the casting room, like what, were there any advice you could give us as well?
Yeah.
Cast your family, nepotism.
Sorry, I missed that. I can only imagine what she's saying. So yeah, actually, Deepti, who plays the restaurant owner, directed a film that I was lucky enough to be in, and so she came to mind for me when, and actually we auditioned a few people for that role of the restaurant owner. I kind of didn't think of Deepti at first. I don't know. I think it was just, I don't know. I just had a different idea in mind, but I read the other people, and it's so important. I can't tell you. I don't think that actors should really take it so personally when people say, "Well, I would like for you to read," because as a filmmaker now, watching those audition tapes, it really, everybody is uniquely different, and everybody brings something different to the role. And each person that I auditioned for that role brought something different, and the ones that I thought were going to have the right flavor just didn't. And it didn't sit with me, and it actually and I don't know why Deepti kept coming to my mind, and I said, hey, do you want to try this and just see if this might work for you? And she sent me the audition online, and she just nailed it. Like, it nailed it, strength, pulled through all the way, and I looked at Christy and I was like, that's it. Like, I could have put that in the movie. So
that was self-tape. She did a self-tape.
She self-taped. Yeah, actually, I had all my actors self-tape. We were obviously, I couldn't hire a casting director, and I knew enough people and worked on enough projects where I felt like I could at least in the beginning reach out and see who I knew. And for each part, of course, I reached next door and cast my wife.
She sleeps next door.
she sometimes, if I'm not that good. Anyway, I have to say, as being actors, one of the things that's really helped me is I coach my wife. So I coach her on every audition. I coach my daughter on every audition. We coach her on set, so I'm there working with all kinds of prominent directors on whatever project that she might be working on. And I'm always paying attention. To me, really listening and feeling a scene out with her really helped to prepare me to do this. So, if any opportunity that you get to work with your actor friends, I think is really, helpful in training you maybe for a bigger job, which I think could be really great. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about casting for you. Now we have some of the actors here with us today. So how did you go about casting? Did you have a general audition, or did you have specific offers that you went out and made offers to people?
Well, I definitely had, I'd say, maybe 5 casting calls. We held about 5 auditions. It's funny, when Nakia came in, there's just certain people or actors, when they come in, you can kind of tell, like, okay, I think you kind of think you have the right person. And she brought a presence with her when she came in. Like, it was just really, it was really interesting how she just came in with a presence, and after she finished, we all kind of looked at each other like, oh, okay, I think we found her. And with Tyler, given that it was a historical piece, there was information out there for people, I think, just beforehand to kind of like, read about who they were portraying, who they were coming in. And in the sides, it wasn't mentioned that Emmett had a stutter. He stuttered when he got nervous. But Tyler took it upon himself to research that, and so when he came into audition, he did it. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, he went that extra mile. Just those little things just really stand out. And again, given that mine was a historical piece, I think what helped was also just the information that was kind of already out there. But yeah, we had about 4 casting calls and saw a lot of people, but the people that we went with were just absolutely amazing. So yeah.
And for our hummingbird and crane?
Well, we already had our star,
Pam,
because it was her film. And
Lauren, you had to cast Lauren.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is Lauren here? No.
She's not here. But we shot that in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So we actually had a casting director in New Mexico help us cast the rest of the film. But then she brought us Sarah, who's actually from LA area. But those are our only 2 LA
What did you find challenging about the casting, or did you find it a breeze, or like what in general was that like for you?
I wouldn't say it was a breeze. It wasn't crazy hard, but I think the hardest thing was we just had to watch tapes because we were doing all pre-production from LA. And so I kind of just had to guess on who I thought would have comedy chemistry, which, like, yeah, I guess that was kind of hard.
That is a challenge.
Yeah, but how I like to cast is it's a total vibe thing, not to get all like groovy or whatever, but like I'm not the type of director of like I'm gonna mold you into what I want you to become. Like if you don't bring it even in just our conversation, or if I don't feel kind of that character already in you, then I don't think you're the right person for that role. I think my role as the director is really to just ask you the right questions, put you in the right, setting and mindset to have that character that's already within you just kind of come out and see you react to whatever's going on. But so I think it was pretty good, right, Pam?
Well, for Night Shift, how did you cast him, and then did you tell him up front you're going to be in a bathroom for a week? So get used to it. Bring some antibacterial soap and no.
No, I didn't tell anybody about that. And aside from Sunday, of course. And But yeah, it's funny you brought that up because we shot at the Ace, like I said, and we had to cover the vents for air conditioning and the stench in there was just it just came from, like, I think the building was built in 1934 or something like that. And so all the years of piss just started to rise, and it was suffocating. And and in terms of casting, like I said earlier, Tunde and my fiance Moore were roommates, and just like I was obsessed with that bathroom, I was obsessed with getting Tunde. I was like, did he read the script? What did he say? Did you get him? What's going on? Like, I was just like obsessed with that. And then for China, the one who plays his wife, we got her from a recommendation, a friend of ours that recommended her, and she's just fantastic. And the rest, a friend of mine, the guy who does the coke, that's a friend of mine, PJ. And I just think he's so brilliant, you know, he's just so amazing. Everybody else was brought to us through Christopher Gray, and to be very honest, some of these guys, like Kairos, was the first time. I didn't know what he could do. He came to the day that we needed him to shoot.
He did a lot.
And he was so prepared. It was so amazing. Like, I was blown away. And this was his first time, like, doing that. And Cisco, when Chris said that he could get Cisco, who I knew from Next Day Air, I was just like, nah, he's not gonna really do this, really. And he did, so I was just so thrilled. And he was one of those, I mean, I had already started working with Tunde, and I knew what Tunde could do, you know, because we know him from more. But when Cisco did his reading the first time, I was just like, thank God. You know, this guy is so good. And it was the first time I felt like, you know, I'm seeing this come to life right now, this particular character. But
I don't have anything that's going to be that helpful with the casting office, because Emily really knew who she wanted for the Michelle Clooney, who I think just did an amazing job as her mom, was a personal friend. She was our neighbor. And we became very friendly over the years. And Mel Shumkovich, she had worked with on Transparent, and just thought, you know, she was perfect. So she gave each of them the script to read to see if they would, you know, like to have the role, and they did. And then they did a table read, the three of them, and made some adjustments, and that was it. So,
well, we're going to flip the script a little bit, and something I've thought of watching you guys and meeting you guys, that, you know, you have had to make a film, and then you have to put it out there, and you have to do film festivals and try to get it into film festivals, and that's hard, and you're not getting into everything that you put it yourself out there for. Tell me about your approach to getting it out there for people to see. Are you pouring a bunch of money into film festivals, or how do you do it? Because I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I am. That's what it takes, you know. Listen, all these are all really great films. They all deserve to be seen. When you make a short film, any film that's not going to be distributed, you gotta get it out there. You gotta share your work. You know, the Beatles would have just been some garage band if they didn't believe in themselves to get out there and share their stuff. So, I believed in my film, and I had worked on a film as an actor, and the producers. It was a great short film. And those producers and the director went to go meet a festival consultant. And usually, you know, you're kind of leery of these kind of people, but I was so impressed by his knowledge. Someone who had founded the LA Film Festival in Palm Springs, worked at Palm Springs and programmed for many years. And he gave so much knowledge about all the film festivals for very reasonable, let's say like $400. Broke down, gave you a year-long plan of submitting to festivals, because there are thousands. I've pretty much followed his plan. I've thrown my hat into some that he didn't recommend. But, through these festivals, listen, I'm a longtime actor, and, acting is one thing where, you can get, you just get an agent, and next thing you know, you're working. Or you can, struggle to get an agent, and then you're like struggling and scratching to get a part, once a year. And, I've kind of been in that other side of things. I have been lucky commercially. And through that, I was able to save the money and pay for this film myself, pay for all the festivals myself. There's a way to do it, and I think that's what's really important to know. If you have a story to tell as an actor, you can bridge the gap and make the leap. So I've been submitting to festivals. We premiered last year in April. We played 55 festivals and still have more to play. And it's really good because what does that do for you? You wonder. We've won 20 awards, 12 for Best Short, and that helps kind of carry you behind you when you go into a meeting. And you're like, well, we've got this. It kind of did this for me. And people take notice. And so from playing Palm Springs, we have had some really important meetings because I have the feature based on the short written now. And so people are interested in that. And there's possibilities in some other different directing gigs. So it can really open doors for you by taking action. And I think that was one of the greatest things. But the festival consultant really helps to navigate festivals, or you can model your film after other successful films. Because like mine, I have mine online with every festival we've been in. And that's what I did when I was starting. I looked at other ones that were nominated for an Academy Award and thought, okay, well, what festivals have they done? And you're kind of hit and miss that way. Consultant can really help to dial you in, but that's what worked for me.
Tiffany, about getting your film out there, were you doing mostly film festival stuff, or what does the future even hold for your film as well?
Well, for me, it was actually, I was totally new to the whole film festival circuit when I finished this. So I had made a list of all the festivals that, like, top tier, like second tier, third tier, and the dates, and I just submitted to a lot of film festivals. And what I know now, it's like you really need to make sure that you want to cater whatever your film subject matter is to that festival. Some are just kind of for everything, and some are more, for certain things. But we actually premiered at the American Black Film Festival, their HBO short film competition in New York in 2014. So we actually shot this in 2013, and it took us a year to finish it with post-production and money and all that stuff. So we've, I think, screened about maybe 15 festivals over the last couple years. And this was a great treat to get accepted here again, because we hadn't screened in a while. So for me, it was just kind of learning. Now I know so much more having gone through the process, but I think definitely doing your research, I think what you said was great about getting a consultant. I think that is a great thing to do because it really is its own beast, and kind of being able to attack it and really plan before, like even when you're in pre-production, kind of planning ahead, I think will really kind of get you in the right direction. And also what I heard was go for early deadline submissions. Like regular and late is kind of, if you have, maybe big names that might help you, but really if you want to have the greatest chance, go for the early submissions. So, yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, but this SAG-AFTRA short film series that they do it's not a competition, but there are tons and tons and tons of films that are submitted. I mean, there were hundreds of films submitted just to be screened tonight, and so that's again something to congratulate you guys on being here. But I can tell you from firsthand, there were a lot of films that are very, very worthy to be here that just there's not enough time to show. We have to just show 5, but still, congratulations for being here for that. And for anyone that did not get into film, maybe if you're here, maybe you're watching, that certainly doesn't mean anything against your film. It's just, it truly is, there were some good films left out. You have to know that. So what about your film as well for Hummingbird and Crane? I mean, is it out there a lot, or what's the future of it, for example?
Yeah, we did the festival circuit and had a nice run, which was great. But like Tiffany said, like I work at Funny or Die, and those videos go up in a day and then they're gone tomorrow. And like you shot yours in 2013, I shot mine in 2015, and we're screening it in 2017. Like that's awesome. The lifespan films can have if you do go the festival route. So that's super fun. Yeah.
So what about the Night Shift as well? I mean, I know you premiered at Sundance, is that correct? And then tell me a little bit about Viola Davis. I saw her name up there, but I don't know the story involving with her, but that popped up today for me.
Yeah, so we premiered at Sundance, like you said, and what was so fantastic about that, there were like 9,000 films submitted this year or for this festival. And we were one of 67 that were programmed. And then from that, we were also selected to do the Sundance Shorts Tour. So it's actually going around right now They take 7 films on the road and to Europe, et cetera, and Night Shift was selected as one of those as well. So we're getting a good run out of this whole thing. I don't know how many festivals we've played, but a lot. And in terms of Viola, I have a project called Mama Black Widow that I did, an adaptation. It's at the stage of just the script right now, and I got it to Viola, and she loved it, and ran into her at a party, and they were like, what are you doing? Like, come to the office. And so I did, and I told them about this idea of a bathroom attendant in an LA nightclub, and they loved it, and so they got behind it. And it's also a way for them, their Juvie Productions is a way to help push new voices, especially people of color, and women forward. You know, so the whole Oscar so white thing that happened a while, this is their way. I believe, they've never said this to me, but they're putting their money where their mouth is, you know, and trying to make a difference and make a change.
Well, Emily funded the film, excuse me, and I would say that the commercials from when she was younger definitely helped do that. But she fronted the money for the production, and then we ended up doing a Kickstarter for post-production, which with the festivals and everything else is way more than we thought it was going to be. And sitting on her bed hitting press to see if anybody was going to give to Kickstarter, I will always remember that moment. And in the first 20 minutes when nothing came in, we were like, should we give money? What should we do? And within 6 hours, she hit her goal and ended up getting like 3 times over. So it paid for everything, including all of post-production. And it was interesting what people wanted, because getting their IMDb name
Credit.
was incredibly important.
Everyone knows what she's talking about out here. We understand that. Yeah.
It was really unbelievable. So it was a real learning process on the business side to see what helped and what changed. So it was a fabulous project overall. It premiered at LA Film Festival. It's been in about 16 festivals so far. It originally was 21 pages. She submitted to Cannes, so in her first edit session, she cut 6 minutes. So luckily,
to make it under 15.
To make it under 15.
Limit, yeah.
So it was interesting because we kind of did some things we learned afterwards sometimes of what was important or what you really needed to do in the process. But I think the film festivals have been great. I think the point of just doing it, and again, if you write as well, which she is going for creative writing, it's such an important thing to just do it, because it has opened so many different things for her, and there are people looking at it as far as a feature. They're also, at one of the film festivals, she was lucky enough to meet this other filmmaker, and they have a pilot that they just finished that some people are looking at. So it's really like you don't know, and it just elevates you. It gives you a lot more to talk about, and people love, the actors, but it just helps get it done. So.
That's awesome. And none of us, the people who watch these films, you get a list of them and you just click the link. So until you're telling me these stories, I didn't have any idea how many festivals you played or where you premiered, and none of that would factor into a decision-making process because we just didn't know. It's just there's too many films to look at, and it's judged based on the merit of that film itself, as I think, and hopefully other film festivals work that way as well. I want to ask a couple specific questions, and then we'll come back and kind of wrap up a little bit. So, Tiffany, for your film, the whole place, it was quiet, and it was so powerful to watch it with an audience. What was it like for you the first time you watched your film with an audience?
So the first time I watched it was at the American Black Film Festival, the HBO competition. I was really nervous. It was my first film festival ever. I'd never gone to one. And I was hoping that the story would be conveyed, because there's so much information about the incident. I mean, there's so much that's not even in there at all. And I was just hoping, because originally it was going to be a trailer. And then I was like, oh, I'll just do a short instead. So I was really hoping that the story would be complete, although it was a short and didn't have all the information. And I was hoping that people would learn something, those who hadn't heard the story before, and, you know, think of her, think of the sacrifice that she made, and knowing the threat that was against her. When she went to Mississippi for the trial, you know, they were threatening to bomb her home in Chicago. There were so many threats against her and her family. And so if you can just kind of put yourself in her shoes and understand how big of a sacrifice she made, and just really wanting people to acknowledge her in history and just respect, you know, what she did and her courage. Like,
Did you feel that when that first audience watched it? Did you feel that that moment was happening?
Yes, yes, yes.
And you decided not to show the pretty famous photo of Emmett Till. Do you feel like, well, why did you choose not to do that? And tell me about that. Maybe people don't know about the photo.
Right. Yeah. So the photo of Emmett Till. One of the reasons why his mother chose to have an open casket funeral was because she wanted the world to see what had happened to her son. Before that, the incident, well, a year before that was the Brown versus Board of Education. That was 1954. And then Emmett Till was murdered. And then there was Rosa Parks 90 days later. So for his mother, she wanted to galvanize people. And really it did start a movement. And the picture was published in Jet magazine. And I think that is what really was the turning point for people to, we're fed up. We're tired. We're not.
Picture of his body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Picture of his body. And so we talked about it. We went back and forth with it. And I actually spoke to one of my teachers about it. Adam Nimoy actually was my directing teacher. And he felt it was more poetic not to show the body. And I think out of respect for his family and just the story in general, I think we just decided that it was best. I wasn't trying to force anything on people. It really was his mother's story and about her decision. And so it's like, hopefully you would still get the significance of it and how grotesque it was without having to see it. But I just didn't want to force like something to make you like, oh my God, like scare people. It was really about his mother.
Yeah, and the fact that you showed the photo of her was super powerful to see her. I mean, I was holding my breath because I thought we were going to see the picture, the famous picture, but then you showed the picture of her and Emmett smiling, so that was cool. Okay, well, that's it, all right, so all these stories have to do with acceptance a lot. I mean, and everything from, you know, coming of age stories down there to even a comedic way of these kooky characters being accepted into a bird call society. With Night Shift, for example, I mean, by the way, first of all, cramming in, you must have had a big crew crammed into that bathroom as well in the heat. I think there's some photos I saw of like the camera on sliders and you guys are up underneath stalls and stuff like that. So just the technical challenge of that is pretty incredible. But if you just artistically talk about the journey of the main character, of course, it'd be great to hear him. But if you could talk about if you could talk about the journey of that main character, and his acceptance and what he needs, because a lot of us probably can relate. We haven't worked in bathrooms, but we feel that way about him. Because we work in LA as actors, which
yeah, I was wondering how that was going to play with a bunch of actors, because a lot of people come to Los Angeles with these dreams, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And I personally can tell you about that, and in a funny way, but I won't. And and so I wanted to tell this story about, I guess you could say invisible people. He's playing a character that, is invisible to us. If we go into the bathroom, do our personal business, these people kind of disappear for you to feel comfortable enough to do that. But also that he was intentionally trying to be invisible. He was trying to hide from, who he was or who he is. And just the whole idea of not being able to be achieved that particular night with his friend coming in and all the different things that were going on in his life. So, wait, I forgot the question.
just about what you're talking about acceptance and getting him to take that journey to be accepted, even if he's working in a bathroom trying to get his girl back.
Yeah, and so his wife was trying to like force him to remember who he was, you know, and that's really what it was about. Was for me, it was about, you know, him trying to come to terms with the fact that, you know, you're about to lose your girl, and you know things aren't going right, but you have a chance right now to do something about it. And that's what she really wanted, was for him to get that spark again, and so
And to wash his hands thoroughly.
and to wash his hands thoroughly.
Don't
yeah.
touch me.
You got to in a situation like that. So yeah, does that answer that?
That does. That
Yeah.
does. Well, we're getting the sign to wrap up. Everyone would love to give you a big round of applause again. Thank you, guys. Congratulations for everything. I could talk to you all night. I have thousands of questions, but thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for watching and coming to support. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.